All right, we're back for another live Friday financial wrap up with Mr. Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
Hey man, I appreciate the opportunity to do these with you live. It's a lot of fun. It's the last thing I do for a couple of days, so thanks for the opportunity. It's always fun.
Always fun. This is for Friday, January the 10th, 2025. Let's get right into the show, man. LA, the fires, Southern California. Man, what a tough, hard to watch.
Hard to watch. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures, but there are entire towns and seemingly cities that are just not there anymore, and it's heartbreaking. It is good to see that the loss of life is substantially below probably expectations when you see the pictures, but still there's been some, which is horrible. But where I wanted to talk about here, I don't know if the One Rental at a Time audience knows this, but we have people that come on the channel every week that are directly impacted by this. Convoy Home Loans is based down in Southern California. Dustin specifically grew up in the Pacific Palisades. His family, mom and dad, lost their home. His entire memories of a youth are gone. His school is gone. House of worship gone. And Jonathan, his partner, is getting married this weekend, and in that area, and has had to pull a very quick audible. So I had a discussion with Dustin. He actually wanted it recorded because he said it would be healing. I think it comes out today, where the conversation was just, it was a hard conversation to have. I'm sure it was hard for him, but hopefully it was a little bit healing. So I would ask the One Rental at a Time audience to appreciate is there are real people out there suffering because of this. And we have, what I call the Rolodex of millionaires that have been directly impacted by this. So if you've ever worked with Convoy Home Loans, if you've ever spoken to Jonathan and or Dustin, or if you are just an awesome person, like most of my audience is, keep them in your prayers, say a little extra. If you want to go the extra mile, reach out, send them a DM on Instagram, or if you happen to have their numbers, text them, good, positive thoughts you're thinking of them. But yeah, this we have part of the family that's really hurting today. So I just wanted to kind of open that with that. So sorry, it's going to be a rough transition, but I wanted to talk about that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And prayers for all of everybody in Southern California, LA, everybody in our community, man. It's a tough thing. And obviously our prayers, thoughts are with you, and encouragement for people to hang in there and do the best you can, and you'll get through it. So
yeah,
let's transition. Let's talk about jobs. Let's talk about JOLTS, ADP, payroll. What happened this week?
Yeah. So again, we get 3 reports on jobs each and every month. The first 2 are, slightly market moving, maybe more trend. And then, of course, we get the big job numbers that just came out this morning, which we'll talk about next. But let's talk about JOLTS first. JOLTS is about job openings. And it's funny because on Monday, I had a conversation with Taylor from Life Goal Investment saying, I think the JOLTS report is going to spike to the upside. It's going to be a massive number. And he's like, why do you think that? You're crazy. And I'm like, did you not see the small business surveys from December that were marketably up there? And, as an executive who both made, budgeting and hiring and go-to-market decisions, I know with certainty that if I was coming into a year and we were thinking it's going to be a vibe shift, the first thing we would do is open recs. And Taylor was like, dude, I don't know. It's a little too soon. And I'm like, just watch the JOLTS report. It's going to be a barn burner. And it was. It beat expectations by something like 350,000 jobs. And I think that trend continues. I think the JOLT report continues. Now, if we flip to the ADP report, which is very much a private payroll, it kind of it disappointed, right? It was expected to be, I don't remember, like 160 or something, and it came in at 120. It was, it was a miss. But, I think we've talked about before on the weekly wrap up, there was a vibe shift in December, right? Post-election. And I think the JOLTS report is the first sign of that. So we'll want validation, no doubt. We always want multiple points. This could be a blip, absolutely. But yeah, I was encouraged by the JOLTS report.
Interesting. Okay, we always keep our eye on jobs. Let's talk about today's big job number. What's your thoughts? What's your take on it?
Hot, hot, hot. Right. We had expectations, somewhere around 155. Last month was 212. So the expectation was the job market was going to be, downshifting, right? Last month was a dirty number because of the Boeing strike and some other things. But dude, it came in at 256. And I don't know if it's worst case or best case. I don't know how you want to frame this, but the unemployment rate, which was on the edge of 4.3, it was a rounding error away from 4.3, was expected to come in a tight 4.2, dropped to 4.1. So jobs market as of December still strong and based on the numbers, much better than expected, and that's going to have immediate impact on lots of things, which we'll get into next.
Okay, so anything else in like what happened, or maybe how that's going to relate to the Fed, like with what's going on with Fed talk, and just
we had
together.
So we had a bunch of Fed talk this week, and anytime there's we're at a transition point. We for a long time we were on a rate hiking cycle. And then we entered a rate cutting cycle. And, now we're at a transition point to, is another cut coming? When is it coming? Blah, blah, blah. And I think these numbers, again, I mean, I'm not changing my opinion. I had this opinion 3 months ago. I don't think the Fed's cutting all year. And this jobs number, this one number, today's number at 7:30 or 7 or whenever it came out is, it's already changed expectations. Right. Yeah. Expectations as of yesterday were for 2 to 3 rate cuts. It's now 1.
Right.
And we had lots of Feds talk. We had Fed President Barker, Collins, Day. I mean, just lots of them daily speaking this week. And they all basically said, this is what they all basically said. Inflation is not our concern. We're concerned about the downshift in the jobs market. That's basically what they all said with different words. Well, hello, folks. Unemployment dropped, right? You guys are telling us you're data dependent, and the job market, shifted up, not down. So at a minimum, this has got to delay rate cuts. You can't cut into this cycle, I don't think. So I feel really, really good about my call from months ago saying 0 cuts in 25.
Yeah. It's interesting that as we transition to the next talking point, Barry Habib, right? A very well-known in the mortgage, MBS highway. We had him as a guest on the show back in like the end of 2020 or 21.
Yep.
I believe.
We did.
Barry Habib made a pretty bold call. I watched a little bit of your take yesterday, or should we say a very bold call?
Very bold. Yeah, let's not undersell it.
What's your take on Barry Habib?
Well, first, so my take on Barry Habib is he is amazing at what he does. In my vernacular, he's got the hardware to be confident. He's won the Crystal Ball Award for forecasting multiple times. So he is someone I watch, somebody I listen to, somebody who I want to I use to kind of question myself when he disagrees with me, right? But he hasn't changed my opinion. But I do want to give mortgage brokers and real estate agents hope. The legend, Barry Habib, is calling for mortgage rates to hit 5.8% in 6 months. And, obviously he made that call before today's jobs number, which given what's just happened is making that 5.8 look less likely. But I do want to go through why he called it, because I think that's interesting. Barry basically gets to 5.8 with 2 tweaks, 2 changes. Yep. First, he sees the spread, which you and I have talked about for years, which had historically been 180 forever, got as high as 311, now sitting at, 260. He thinks that could come down to like 220. And again, still above normal, which frankly, I don't have a problem with that part of his call. I think if we remove more and more uncertainty from the market, that's possible. But then he gets a little wild for me, right? My opinion. Again, he's got the hardware. He's the expert. If you have to choose someone to listen to, choose him. But I'm not changing my opinion. He thinks the 10-year note's going to fall to 3.6. And today it hit 4.75 something.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how we get to 3.6. It's not, I mean, I could see 3.6 in December, right? The end of the year, maybe if things go wonky. Dude, there is so much momentum. So many things going to be happening early in the year that are going to cause unknowns that I can't see. The cost of capital, interest rates, doesn't do well with unknowns. So I believe this yesterday and recorded content. I now believe it even stronger given the surprising job number today, that I just can't see the 10-year falling that fast. And, I'm sorry. I respectfully disagree. I haven't changed my personal call of averaging 7% for the year, which, if you average 7% for the year, that doesn't mean we can't go below 7 late in the year. It just means when you put it all together,
it averages
to 7.
Yeah. And I was actually pretty shocked by it when I was scrolling on YouTube and I saw the headline that you had recorded and I was like, what is this? And so, you and I both, we have tremendous respect for Barry and what he does. He's a guy that's very well respected in the mortgage-backed securities, Goldman Sachs. I mean, this is the guy from, private equity and Wall Street. The only thing I thought of, Michael, just my own little 2 cents on this, is there something that Barry knows that we don't know that's not generally public? The only way I see that happening in 6 months is there's some kind of broken black swan thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Silicon Valley Bank, or is there something else that maybe is broken that just hasn't come to surface that may happen in March, April, May?
You know what? I think that's an excellent point. And I did not go there, but you're absolutely right. Barry Habib has been in the industry so long. His Rolodex has got to be so deep that it would not be shocking that he has insights to highly probable events that will be rate destructive. It's absolutely possible. I can only make my choice based on my Rolodex and my experience. And, I'm not changing my call, but yeah, it is absolutely, it might even be probable Barry's got insights that we don't have. I mean, I'd be shocked if he doesn't have data or, little birdies whispering in his ear, hey, dude, this is coming down the pipe. You didn't hear it from me stuff. I get a little bit of that today, and I'm 1/100th the influence that Barry is.
Yeah. And I think too that obviously for our community, for the one rental at a time community, it's like, hey, this is where we're at. And if you hedge for 7%, high 6 rates, and it comes in lower and you're doing projects, then you're going to do better. It's better to protect the downside than to bet on, okay, I'm going to go all in on, I've seen friends who do big development or rehabs or flips, and they've lost their ass on projects because they were betting on the fact that rates were going to come in.
I'm so glad you brought this up. One of the worst offenders, the last 18 months or so have been people preaching, marry the house, date the rate, which thankfully we have always poo-pooed on this channel. We have had people on say that. And I say, hey, great. If you want to roll the dice, great. But let me be very clear with my audience. That's crap advice. Unless you have very defined short-term in and out. I mean, it does make sense in a small subsection, but for my audience, I'm always clear. That's crap advice. Do a great deal today with 30-year debt today. And you're right. If you could make it cash flow at 8%, I guarantee you can make it cash flow at 5.5%. I mean, let me just promise you that. So go do a great deal at 8% and, thank me later at 5.5%.
Right. If it gets better, you win bigger.
You win. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Let's keep going. Consumer credit. What did you see this week? What's going on with consumer credit?
Yeah, dude, this number was shockingly bad. It was a December number. So there's lots of lots of reasons it could be dirty, which we'll get into. But just to get to the number, consumer credit collapsed $7.5 billion in the month. And just for reference, it was expected to grow 9.1 billion. So it was a $16 billion miss in a month. So what is that all about? Well, there's a lot of things it could be. And I think the most likely right now is lending institutions wanted to clean up their books heading into December, right? Because it's the end of the year, it's the end of the quarter. They wanted more cash or more, whatever they needed. They needed their ratios. They needed their ratios to look better. So one of the ways they could do that is just by not lending, right? Again, I don't know that that's happened, but that's a possible explanation. Another explanation, which is probably more concerning, is lenders are getting more tight. It's harder to get a yes answer. And, that would absolutely be less lending. And why is all of this a problem? Frankly, because we're a consumer nation and most people don't buy stuff with cash. They buy on credit cards, car loans, homes, all of that. So the fact that consumer credit collapsed $7.5 billion in the month was a $16.6 billion miss. That's like a yellow flag, right? That's like, hey, look over here.
Right.
We're going to want to see what happens in January, because in my world, we never let one print impact us. But this is one of those prints that was so off. We raise our hand, we put it on the board, and we're like, I'm going to look at that number in January. Because if this is a negative trend, some shit is breaking. And now if next month comes back and it's like positive 20, it's like, okay, that was a dirty number. Banks were doing something funky, no big deal. But this is hey, we got to watch in January.
Very interesting. Something to keep an eye on. We'll keep you updated. Let's talk about consumer sentiment. What did you see this week? What were your thoughts as we get into the first, right? We are on the 10th day of January. What's consumer sentiment doing?
Yeah, no, consumer sentiment basically came in near expectations. It came in at 73.2 versus 74, 74 expected. So a slight, downward. But what was most telling was the subcomponents. And one thing that happened earlier in the week, it's funny how this came together. On Monday, it was Monday or Tuesday, the betting market basically took long-term inflation up from 3.2 to 4%. I think it was Tuesday because the 10-year note ripped on that. And sure enough, what happened under consumer sentiment, 3-year inflation expectations moved up substantially from 2.8 to 3.3. And the 5-year expectation for inflation moved up from 3 to 3.3. Again, we have heard the Fed say over and over, we are watching inflation expectations. And right now, every sign out there is telling the Fed that inflation expectations are moving up meaningfully, which means no cuts.
Yeah.
No cuts.
Very interesting times. No cuts is the call. Let's talk mistake on school. I don't know about this. What happened on school?
Yeah, so it's funny, right? I have a school community. It's almost 370 amazing people going the same direction. I interviewed a school member, Andrew, last weekend. And Andrew was like, wow, this is great. I've got like 70 or 75 phone calls. People want to know what I'm doing. He's growing in Southern California. He's got I forget what it was, 70 units or something. But he's like, Michael, I talk to a lot of people who are interested in joining school, but they think it's like school, right? You got to show up on these times. You got to show at these dates. You got to do these homework assignments. And I'm like, oh my God, I assumed everybody knew what school was, right? It's Alex Hormozi's thing. And that's a mistake, right? School is 67 cents a day. I think everybody looks at that and goes, hey, Michael, I'll pay you that. But Michael, I don't want to pay for homework. I don't want to pay for attendance. I don't have time for all this nonsense. Right. That's not what school is, right? For 67 cents a day, what do you get? You get a growing community or forum of like-minded people that you could come in and ask questions. That's all it is. You don't have to do anything else than that, right? If you want to respond to stuff that you know about, great. If you want to be on the fly on the wall, great. Dude, I have priced this thing at 67 cents a day. If you do nothing in school except what you're interested in, it's extremely valuable. So my mistake was assuming people knew what school was. And
Yeah.
clearly Andrew's like, dude, I talked to like 10 or 15 of the 70 people that should be a part of school and aren't, because they don't want homework and they don't want attendance. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? How stupid of I was to make that assumption that everybody knew. No, it's a big forum, lots of categories. It does have a calendar. If you want to attend, nothing is mandatory. It's got thousands of dollars in free education if you want. But yeah, I mean, for 67 cents a day to be in a community of 300 going up to 400 people that'll answer questions, that's worth it. Just, hey, I'm a new landlord. Here's a question. You'll get 25 responses. That's worth 67 cents a day. If you want to go further, great. But yeah, dude, I was shocked and disappointed in myself because I know better, right? Yeah, yes, school is important to me. Yes, I'm an Alex Hormozi fan. Yes, I know what it is, but I should have never made that assumption that everybody does. So shame on me. And oh, by the way, if you don't know, school is not spelled like school. School is spelled with a K. So if you go to SKOOL and then you search One Rental at a Time, you'll find me. It's not SCHOOL. It's SKOOL. So I made lots of, dude, I am so much better than this. I've been selling. Huge mistake. I should not have expected everybody to know school just because I know school.
My 2 cents on it, and I want to really break this down to the viewer. Unlike Facebook or other social media platforms, the way school is it's designed specifically that, hey, it's the one rental at a time community where you plug in, there's no ads, there's no selling involved. It's truly a community page where you plug in. And unlike social media traditionally, where it's designed to make you feel bad and get into your wallet and have you buy things that you think you need, that's not what's going on in school. I delete social media I'll get on Instagram, but then post and comment and delete it. School is a great place to hang out, to meet and hang out with like-minded people in a social media exchange where you're dialoguing, as well as thousands and thousands of dollars of free education that's a part of the subscription. So get involved with school.
Yeah.
Anything else on school, Michael?
No, I just think more. I mean, it is growing, which I think. But again, I think if I was more clear on what school was, because it's the place to be, right? To me, again, as somebody that is this old, I remember Bigger Pockets 1.0 when Josh Dorkin was running around in his basement doing servers and web config, because I was a blogger, right? I was a featured blogger for Bigger Pockets. And that's what school is. It's a 1.0. It's just about the audience. It's just about the community, no selling. The thing that I like about it that I never got in my private Facebook group was, if I want to communicate a message to everyone, I can do that.
Yep.
Right. And that's why I went to school, right? I have a private Facebook group with 2,300 folks in it. But anytime I wanted to send a message, like 23 people got it. And it just became unattainable. I don't even go to Facebook anymore. It's not useful for somebody who's trying to really manage an entire community. So school is just that. It's an online forum community. No homework, no attendance. Just come, ask questions, be a good person, and yeah, it's 67 pennies a day. It's crazy.
I love it. I love it. So, Michael, I know we haven't talked a lot this week. You have a huge announcement for Vegas. What is it? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so the huge announcement for Vegas is I have finally confirmed, after many goes around with my video crew, that we will be able to stream the event. So there's a lot of people I have heard from that are like, hey, I'd love to come, but the schedule doesn't work. I have a wedding or a work thing, or, I can't travel, whatever it is. Well, now you can participate. You can be a fly on the wall. We will be streaming the entire event, and Saturday, Sunday. The price point is stupid. I'm keeping it at the same price point as last year. It's only $99. And as always, I exceed expectations. So if you're coming in person or you're attending virtual, I will get you the entire replay once it is published. It will be on Teachable. I will simply go in and myself manually add everyone, and you will get the replay. Why is the replay important? Well, first for virtual attendees, I don't know about you, but there's no chance in hell I could sit down for 8 hours and stare at my screen.
Right.
It just wouldn't happen. So you can come for the ones that you wanted to attend, maybe the opening, maybe this, maybe that, but you'll get the replay for the others. And then for the folks that are coming in person, again, it is not lost on me based on last year that there will be sometimes you want to just get up and talk to folks, and the agenda is so packed. Other than lunch and dinner, there's no real networking time. So you could go off into another room, and you too will have access to the replay. So the huge announcement for Vegas is, I did break down. It cost me extra money, just so everybody knows, to put up another camera, because I have to get another camera. I have to wire the mic for sound, and we have to have another body sitting at that station to make sure nothing goes wonky. So
there's production costs, right?
Dude,
I mean, it's costs money. People don't realize it costs a lot
everything
of money.
Costs money in Vegas. Everything costs money in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so expensive. So I cut that check, or I Zelled the money to pay for all of that. So we will be virtually streaming it. So it's only $99. It's crazy. Watch it, get the replay. Yeah, it's crazy.
So let's talk. Awesome, by the way. If you have travel constraints, get yourself there. If you want the replays, get yourself there. But let me ask you, I mean, what are we, 5 weeks? No, we're
like
4 weeks.
Dude, we're like 30. Yeah. So I guess it is 5 weeks. Yeah. I think it's 36 days away or something.
36 days away. I know you've got to be close to sold out. I know are there still what's available? If somebody wanted to go, I know they can go to Eventbrite, look up one rental at a time, buy tickets. How many tickets are available?
Yeah. So, once I took tickets down from 400 to 300, again, saving me over 20 grand and making the event more comfortable, it was really a no brainer. We're now at 69 tickets. That's the countdown. 10 of those being VIP. We're selling about 5 to 8 tickets a day. I expect that to ramp up. So it will sell out. I have every confidence. It could sell out in a week. So, if you had planned to come, I know there's 50 people out there that told me they're coming that haven't bought tickets yet, because I see the registrations.
Buy your tickets.
Buy your tickets, man, because I'm not going to expand it after 300. I've already made the call. I can't go back and change it. I've already signed the contract. Because if I was going to go to 400, I had to buy extra chairs. I can't go over 300. And I'm doing a countdown. 69 tickets, 10 VIP. That's all I got.
And I want to just say for the viewer listener, unlike a lot of other coaches and gurus, Michael and Olivia already have a bag. They already got the bag. They're not. This isn't sales. This isn't
No.
sales talk in order to try to sell tickets. Or we sold out, but then we opened up another. That isn't how Michael operates. He is not like any of the other coaches and speakers out there. So, Michael, any parting words?
No, I want to go back to the beginning. It was a very hard conversation with Dustin. Just ask yourself this. Yeah. Assuming you have even somewhat positive memories of growing up, can you imagine where you grew up being wiped off the face of the earth? Everything's gone. Home, friends' houses, school, churches. I couldn't imagine. And then, by the way, for those of you that are married, do you remember how chaotic that weekend was? And we got our boy Jonathan getting married this weekend in that area, and has had to make some pretty hard pivots and choices. I can't imagine the stress piled on top of the stress. So please, my community is awesome. Lots of you have done work with Convoy. Please send them your prayers, your love, good energy. These guys are hurting. I mean, when you see the video with Dustin, you can't help but, feel the emotion that he was going through. And I told him multiple times, dude, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this, right? You take the day off, right? I'm good. I mean, he's like, no, Michael, this is going to help me, right? So I'm like, okay. You'll see there's like a 60-second pause where we are just quiet, and he's hurting. So, we are all good people. I've learned that in one rental at a time, but let's please go the extra mile and send both Dustin and Jonathan some good vibes. These guys need it. They've they've been through hell and probably are still in it. So yeah, let's be good people.
Prayers for Dustin, Jonathan, everybody in LA. Stay safe. Southern California, we love you. Michael, have a great weekend. Thank you for all that you do.
Take care, bud. Thanks.